Hey, you guys, thanks for listening in on to this episode of Tips with T. On today, I have Miss Jessica with us. Hey, Miss Jessica, how you doing today?
Hey, I am wonderful today.
That's great to hear. So, tell us more about yourself and what you do.
So, my name is Jessica, as she mentioned, Jessica Greer, author Jessica Greer at that. I am a writer and a podcaster. I host the podcast Millennial Melanin Mom. And basically, I spread awareness to individuals to recognize the greatness within and recognizing what it means to have self-love.
Awesome, awesome. So, can you tell us why do you do the things that you do as it relates to podcasting and promoting your book or your story?
So I do everything I do because I want to help other people while helping myself. I have been seeing and recognizing and realizing for quite some time that for me, this journey in life is a learning experience. It's something that we all know nothing about. We can have history, learn things, but it's like a trial by trial basis. We're still learning as we grow. We're still learning as we're living. And it's like we don't know what tomorrow will bring, but we can learn from our previous experience and see the blessing in every lesson and share that knowledge to help each other along the way. I always say that none of us know the answers to life, but we all hold a key ingredient to this recipe called life. And it's up to us to know our purpose and to know which flavor that we will add to this recipe called life.
Awesome. Um, yeah, I think all that is like very, very important. So why is it so important for individuals to recognize that everything that you're seeking in the world is within them? And if you could give any advice, what advice would you give?
So for me, it is important for everyone to recognize that everything that we are seeking is within us is because that's the only way we can truly be happy. Like I see a lot of people dealing with depression and anxiety, and I'm an individual that dealt with depression and anxiety for so long. And it's because I was this people pleaser and trying to please everyone else instead of recognizing that I need to put myself first. I need to love myself first. And loving myself, I can show true, genuine love to other individuals. And you don't have to go find what's for you. When you recognize your own power and greatness, what's for you, having the law of attraction, it will come to you as long as you're being your true, authentic self. I'm realizing this more and more that we are all on this, or a lot of us are on this self-seeking journey to discover who we are. So when we get out of the society or world standards of what we should be, then we can live a more fulfilling and happy life.
Right. So I guess what would you say, or how can someone get started at, like what are some of the areas that you start to work with first when it comes to that area of your life and putting yourself first and knowing your self-worth and stop pleasing everybody, because I know that's one of our main issues. We tend to please a lot of people, and there's some of them which really is not a factor. Like they don't really have a main factor or impact on our lives, but we still try to invest so much time pleasing them. So how did you start first on trying to break that, I guess, cycle, so you won't be pleasing everybody?
Oh, wow. So that is a great question. Thank you so much for asking that. So I had to go through a lot of stuff. I had to be hurt. I had to be broken. I had to be confused and sad. And when all of those things happened, I realized that there was a blessing in it because I wanted to heal. But my first step was going back to my childhood
Mm-hmm.
and facing those things because for me, your childhood is your most impressionable time. It's the time where you learn how to be you as an individual, especially at the age of, I would say, your teenage years, 12 to 16, where everything you're learning is molding and shaping you. So I went back to the past to see how I became the individual that I am as far as people pleasing. Why was I doing the things that I was doing? And it started with childhood trauma for me. And when I started speaking up about the things that hurt me, I was able to release them and heal from them and still healing from them and say, hey, this is a behavior that comes, and this all plays into psychology and experiences, but this is a behavior that stems from childhood trauma. I recognized and acknowledged it. I spoke up about it. And then I started to change that mindset. And I started to use everything that was, in a sense, that people would think that hurt me. I used those stones to build upon to help me. Because things that I didn't like, that I didn't feel great about, I work diligently and hard to try to make sure I'm not that individual to other people. So that's why it's important to discover yourself and know who you are as an individual, to try to understand yourself so that way the same things that hurt us as individuals, we won't hurt other people.
Yeah.
Because people always say hurt people. But if we start using what was meant to hurt us and allow it to hit us, help us to change that pain into passion to help other people, then we can live a happier life. We don't have to say, oh, this bad thing happened to me. We can say, I experienced something and I didn't like the way it feel, but or felt, but I'm going to make sure I don't do other people that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm glad that you said pain was to try to turn your pain into your passion. I know one of my mentors, she always say your pain was for your purpose. And we should learn from that and then move forward and then and realize how was that pain a part of your purpose? How was that pain helped you to where you are getting to or where you are today and where you're trying to go to or get to in life? How is that pain, part of that purpose? So and I'm glad you said turn that pain into passion, because that's another type of way that we can kind of break the barrier on people pleasing. And then
Mm-hmm.
too, with me, I just had to, like when you were saying, I just had to learn, just like sit down and just like learn how to just love on me and appreciate
Mm-hmm.
me for who I am. And then whenever I started doing that and embracing me for who I was, the more I begin to love me, and the less I begin to want to desire to please people. The less I begin to care less of like what everybody else had to think about me, because I took that time and did that healing. And sometimes it does starts with childhood trauma that we tend not to want to go back and evaluate. But sometimes those things, even though we don't pay attention to them, they are hidden triggers that needs to be
Mm-hmm.
addressed. And
Yes.
a lot of people don't want to do the time and do the work, but it's very important, whether in any aspect of your life, making sure that you are healed in order to um, move to the next point in your life, or to get to where you really want to be out of life.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's what I say and feel more than anything. It's like, how can we use what we've been through to help other people?
Right.
Because what I'm discovering more and more is that nothing is coincidental.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing happens by accident. I believe that everything that has already happened will happen, is like happening in this moment. It's all out of our control. It's all by grand design. Even what we consider as mistakes, they're not mistakes. And I was just saying earlier that the only mistakes, just like in a movie, that we have is when we don't see those blessings in every lesson. When we don't recognize and realize that the pain that we went through was meant to shape and mold us to be a better individual, to say, hey, yes, I didn't like the way that feels or felt, but I'm going to try to be the best version of myself. I'm going to try to not make any other people or individuals feel the way I felt. And I'm still going to put myself first, because what I've learned more than anything is everyone else put themselves first. Everyone else puts their feelings out there, or they say what they feel. So I need to do the same thing. I need to love me enough to not be afraid and understand that what's meant to happen shall happen.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Miss Jessica, for coming on the show and talking to us today. So tell our people that are listening how they can find you and message you on social media or your website platforms that you are on. I'm going to share the social media handles. Tell us how we can get your book.
So you can find my book on lulu.com, LULU, Amazon.com, Walmart.com. My first book is The Blessing in Every Lesson, a reflective guide on the road to self-love and spiritual riches. And I actually wrote a second book, which you can inbox me about, but you can find me on social media under Jessica Greer or Jessica Renee, author Jessica Greer, Millennial Melanin Mom, Melanin, Melanin, so Millennial Melanin Mom. You can find that on Instagram, Facebook, or you can Google it and you will be able to find me as well. So message me, don't hesitate to reach out. But those are the major platforms that I'm on. So I'm here and ready for anyone who has any questions about the message that I'm giving out or putting out.
Awesome. And also, you guys make sure you check out her podcast. How often do you produce an episode on your podcast?
So normally I try to produce an episode at least once a week, mainly on Thursdays and Fridays. So I will be starting a new season, starting tomorrow for December. So please check it out. Millennial Melanin Mom on Anchor.fm.
Awesome, awesome. And if you guys want to get in contact with me, you can do so. My number is 910-317-0396. You can shoot me an email at contact@mjfinancial.biz. You can schedule an appointment or a consultation with me on the website www.mjfinancial.biz, and you can also find this episode on Anchor, you guys, and you can find the playback of the video on the YouTube channel for M&J Financial Management. So thank you once again, Miss Jessica, for coming on the show. I highly appreciate you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me on here. It has been a pleasure. I'm so glad to have been connected with you and meeting you with everything and how it aligned. And thank you so much once again for having me here.
It was a pleasure to have you on the show today. And all right, you guys, we will see you on the next episode of Tips with T.